Have you ever wondered what the difference is between a 4.0 liter V6 two valve head and a 4.6 liter V8 two valve head? Well, you came to the right place because I'm going to be showing you guys that today in this video. What's going on, guys? My name is Nate, man, and welcome back or welcome to another episode of Pony Power Garage. Like we just talked about, man, I'm going to be showing you guys the difference between the V8 head as well as the V6 head and kind of go over the differences and the comparisons and basically just talk about why you should never get a V6 unless you were going to use it as a daily. Obviously, in the V6, you can do upgrades and all of that could manipulate the amount of power that you're having, but both of these right now are stock. So we're going to be talking about the 4.6 liter 2 valve and the 4.0 liter 2 valve. All right, before we go any further, I wanted to kind of show you guys the differences between just a side-by-side picture of the V8 head as well as the V6. Now, noticeably, you can see the V8 head is a lot thicker, a lot more room, all of that, which in the end, obviously everything kind of goes with more RPM and more power in the end. So you can see here, like I said, visibly. Now don't forget, this is a blown V6. The V6 we talked about in other videos, but this is I mean, I don't know if anything's necessarily wrong with it, but this is just talk about a stock, just the part itself. All right, so first up, let's talk about the pistons. So obviously in the V6, first off, the pistons are over here in the V6 engine, and then the pistons are still over here in the V8. They're still in the engine, so I don't have the pistons so you guys can see it, but so we still kind of talk about it. So in the V6, there's going to be 3 pistons per side with a total of obviously 6 pistons because it's a 6-cylinder. And so obviously within that, you can manipulate the power and all of that. But like we said, we're talking about just stock parts for everything. So that's really the only difference between the two, is that there's just 2 extra cylinders or 2 extra pistons in the V8 than the V6, but in the end, obviously creates more power. All right, so let's talk about the basic camshaft setup for the V6. So this is the camshaft on the V6. Now, with this, it's a basic setup. It's got small lobes. There's only 6 of them because, again, it's a 6-cylinder. And the gear's a lot smaller, and it's shorter because it's a very small engine. So it's only got to really have, this much. So this is a basic camshaft for a V6. What goes on with this is you're basically going to have your camshaft, you're going to have your rocker arms, and then you're going to have, obviously your hydraulic pins. It's only going to be one camshaft per head on the V6. There's going to be a total of 2 camshafts. Like we said, it's a simpler design. There's nothing really too special about it. It has smaller lobes, and it just has a less aggressive valve lift duration. So, the duration meaning so when these are on like this, and it's on your valve spring, it's going to be, or actually goes like this, but so your camshaft spinning, so it's doing this, and so that's going to be the duration. So it's going to be how much your valves are opening and shutting. And so with this one being a very simple, camshaft, it's all going to be the duration is going to be a lot less. All right, so then here with the V8, this is the V8 camshaft. You guys can see here a way bigger gear, way longer. There's going to be more of your lobes. The lobes are going to be a little thicker, which obviously play a part. The shape can play a part again, but these are just stock. But yeah, so this is a basic stock camshaft. And then obviously, so instead of having rocker arms, you have rocker followers, which are these. And these just, again, all of this, and then you have obviously your hydraulic pin like we talked about earlier. And so basically with this setup, with the rocker followers, basically just reduces the friction, which means a higher, durability and horsepower. So with this, there's 1 camshaft per head. Usually, they're both single overhead cams. But like we said, it's gonna have 1 camshaft per head. It's gonna have rocker followers, valves, and with the valves, which we'll talk about later, but the valves are gonna be, again, it's a 2 valve, so it's gonna be 2 per cylinder. And like we said, it just has bigger cams. It's a bigger cam. It has bigger lobes. The shape is the same, like we talked about, just a stronger valve train. designed for higher RPMs and more power. All right, now let's talk about your valves. So again, both these engines, the similarity is going to be they're both 2-valve, which means there's 2 per cylinder. One being intake, one being exhaust, and that goes for each one of these. And then obviously the spark plug. So then the piston, combustion, like we talked about in the other videos, you guys know the drill. But so again, 2-valve, that's a similarity. They both again are going to be intake and exhaust. On the V6, there's going to be a total of 12 valves, and then obviously with the V8, there's going to be a total of 16. More cylinders equals more valves equals more airflow, which in the end means more RPM and more power. So this is going to be your V6 valves and what it looks like, and then I'll show you guys what the V8 looks like. All right, so these are the valves on the V8. So like we said, there's a total of 16, 8 on each side. Yeah, so you can tell the similarities. You know, if we take this out, that's basically what the V6 looks like, you know? So we're just adding another cylinder and 2 valves, but obviously that's kind of the difference. All right, so now we're going to talk about the rocker followers as well as the rocker arms. I don't know if they're actually called a rocker follower. I just looked these up, and that was what they kind of named it. So I'm just going with it, but so they might actually both be called rocker arms, but either way, these are the different. This is the V6, and this is the V8. So I don't know if you guys can really tell the difference. This is just going to be a lighter duty, different material, basically designed for efficiency, just flexes sooner when under boost. So that was this. And then the V8 has less friction. It's a stronger metal, you know, and with that, obviously it can handle more power and it can just handle boost and higher RPMs, which then in the end can handle more power. So these just can handle a lot more than the V6. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about the hydraulic lifters. Now, these really are pretty much the same thing. They're, you know, this one looks a little different, but you can see here the V8 is they're pretty similar. Not gonna lie. Well, I think actually this one might be a little taller. I don't know. Either way, the V8, I mean, they're pretty similar. The V8 is just made to handle more abuse, more power, all of that. So, I mean, but they pretty much do the exact same thing. Now, could you take this and put it into a V8? I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you. So, I mean, if you know, comment down below. But I wouldn't be putting anything in a V6 and a V8. I would just get V8 parts. But, you know, if for some reason you had to, could you? I have no idea. But this is what the V8 one looks like, and this is what the V6 looks like. Again, they're similar, but this is made to handle more abuse. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about the valve springs. So that's going to be these guys right here. And so with the V6, you're going to have a smaller valve, smaller valve springs. You're going to have less seat pressure, and the valve flow happens a lot sooner. You know, so if you think about it, you know, well, first let's show you guys what the V8 looks like before we actually describe the difference in like what the springs actually do. All right, so these are the V8 springs, which is right here. I still have all the rocker arms and whatever put on, but basically these are the springs. And so if you think about it, you know, with the spring, you know, these have more you know, they're stronger springs pretty much. So if you think about, like, if you put springs between your fingers and you squeeze it, you know, if you have a lightweight spring, it's not gonna snap back as fast, you know. But if you have a heavy duty spring, you know, that can handle more, you know, that pressure is going to snap back a lot faster. So that retention and the lifters and all of that is going to happen a lot sooner, a lot faster. And so then with that creates more intake, more flow, and all of that, which in the end creates more power. So, I mean, obviously, could you get a heavier duty spring on the V6? 110%. But again, like we're talking about, this is just stock. All right, so pretty much like we talked about, you know, we're just gonna go over the difference, like the airflow and power potential between the two. So we're gonna count this out of 4 categories: airflow, boost handling, RPM potential, and power ceiling, like how much power. The V6 head, airflow limited. The V8 is obviously going to be much higher. Boost handling, moderate on the V6. Those engines or those heads are not made or designed to withstand a lot of pressure, you know, a lot of boost. And so, like we said earlier, you know, these engines are designed for moderate modifications and, you know, maintenance at the end of the day. But to be a daily car, you know, I mean, you can make it a little bit fast. I mean, they're not really that. I mean, they're like I said, it's good for a daily car. You know, you can make it look nice. You know, that's why we got an older year for a project car, because the interior, all that is on tip-top shape. So we're talking about that. But yeah, and then obviously the V8 is going to be a lot, like the boost handling is going to be a lot higher. You're going to be able to put a lot more boost into this engine than you would the V6. All right, moving on to RPM potential. So obviously, like we were just talking about with everything with this, it's made to be a daily, so it's not really made to handle a lot of RPMs, you know. And so obviously that's going to be a lot lower, and then the V8 is going to be a lot higher. And the power ceiling, you know, all of these kind of go with the same thing. Again, these engines are not designed. The V6 is not designed to handle a lot of power, and so it's going to be lower. And then the V8 is going to be obviously a lot higher. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys today, man. I hope you guys went on to enjoy the video. If you guys did, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, and click that subscribe button so you guys can join the journey on both of these builds, man. And for you guys joining back with me, I really appreciate the love. And if you're new here, click that sub button because you won't regret it, I promise. But yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and skedaddle. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!